Hey guys, it's John from Evergreen Reptile again. I'm scrolling through Morph Market, doing my daily thing, and I figured I'd start doing the vlog for the day. May as well start getting it up. But I was thinking about, while I was scrolling through Morph Market and my YouTube feed recently, I remembered I mentioned a while ago about the $1,000 budget project, and I then realized I never did a here's the conclusion of what happened and what came about of the project. So I'll do that today. For you guys, it'll be second, not even a second, but give me 5 minutes to get everything a little bit changed around so I can do a tour over there and show what came about of the $1,000 project idea. So with this project, game, whatever you want to call it, this idea I had for the $1,000 budget idea, I did realize a lot of people have done this, ball python breeders, and I believe Brian Barczyk's done this a couple times where he mentions how to do a reptile business with $1,000. A couple of them include habitats, a couple of them don't. So the biggest thing with mine is I did include racks, but I did not include shipping for the animals, and I did not include feed, because one mealworm is less than a penny. So one new gecko costs me maybe 30 cents a week, 40 cents, somewhere in that range. In my opinion, that's negligible numbers, and it's not worth me sitting there and going, all right, what am I going to be over by because I have to feed these new geckos this much per week? I don't think that's that big of a deal to include in the number for me personally, because I am able to bulk buy gecko feed and I produce my own dubia roaches. But the mealworms I get from rainbow mealworms, and fractions of a penny for each of them, so it's in the long run not that worth it for me to count those numbers. If you were really going for a very specific set $1,000 project game, maybe you'd want to include food in that number, but I'm not. And then also shipping, again, that's your call if you want to include that in the number. I'm not, because I think shipping fluctuates so much that you can say it's a $1,000 project and you can get 6 geckos from a $1,000 project, and shipping hits you for, on a good year, $200. And then this past year, where shipping was almost $80 to go from West Coast to East Coast for one gecko, it's not worth mentioning shipping. I believe my total budget was under $1,000 no matter what, so it didn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But I have the first gecko here, and I will flip the camera around in a second. Gecko number 1 is a clown purple head cross female. Sorry, she's a bit of a runner. She is a little beaten up because of breeding. She has a couple marks on her head up here and one right here. It is from pairing her to a male, so I can't perfectly control that. But she is, of the patterned one that I got, my favorite, because she has these very high orange back legs that I just think is gorgeous. Wow, this makes color really bad within the video. But yeah, this is gecko number 1. I'd say a rough ballpark for her, about $200. So scrolling through Morph Market just to check my ballpark number guess for the $200. You can get similar looks. Obviously, it's not going to be exact because this gecko is this gecko and your gecko would be a different gecko. But you can find them low end 100, 120, and high end 300, 350, and the 350 ones are definitely better looking, more towards the purple head look that I think will be the goal for this project, which is weird because I don't have a purple head male to pair to, but I think I can achieve the same look without a male that's purple head. But just scrolling through Morph Market really fast, there's a page or so of purple head stuff available, and yeah, ballpark from 120 to 350, rough guess. So starting that with your budget, I'm just going to put the first number at 200 for me, and then we'll move on to the next female. Female number 2 is also a purple head clown mix, but more of that hypo look with some green banding. The video again doesn't do it justice for colors, and it seems to accent the marks from breeding, so I do apologize if it looks like I do stuff to my geckos. I promise this is just breeding marks on her head. It will heal up as time goes. But a quick scroll through Morph Market as we speak. For that look of a purple head clown mix, 150, maybe 200. I'm gonna go with the 150 number. So we're at 350 for the two of them, the two females so far, leaving us with a $650 budget for rack and a male, because I've only shown the females. Now, before I show the male, I have to address the question, why did I say I would like to go for a purple head look but not get a purple head male? And I don't have an answer for you. I liked the look of the male I had found and the females I had found, and I want to take those two and achieve something different, even though they are, one's a clown GT mix for the male and then the purple head clown mixes, which means I'm a very heavy clown favoriting project. But I want to say I can achieve, based off of the pattern he shows, that it'll be able to get the look I'm aiming for or more. I think it's possible to achieve a look like purple head. I'm not saying I'm trying to market a new purple head line. That's nowhere the goal. It's just I want a specific look. I really like my favorite part about the purple head is that lavender banding in them, and I want to be able to bring that more in other geckos besides just purple head. And this male of the Clown GT, which I'm about to show you, has this jungly pattern that is able to show the purple that I want. Bringing him out now. So this is the male. Like I said, he has that jungly pattern going for him with some deep rust red colors, why I call him Rusty. But I think between that lavender spotting he's got going on and the female's purple head line lineage, the cross should be able to achieve some of the lavender in the first generation and then improve from there on out. Okay, so the question would be, what's the cost you're at with including this male? I paid $350 for the male, and then we did because I didn't have an actual number because I bought a group of the females, but we can just use the market as a reference and say total between the male and the females would be sitting around $700, which leaves me with $300 for racks, which, again, I went over budget because I bought extra females and a second rack. But based off of my average with the rack, I paid $400 for two racks. I think it was $420. So I averaged $200 for rack, which put me at $900, maybe $910, $90 under the goal budget. So including room for shipping, which, again, one gecko like this one coming from the West Coast just gets rid of the shipping cost right there because it's $80 just to send him. But I think this is where I'm going with this idea of the $1,000 project, and I will definitely update what the babies look like to see if I can continue the goal I'm aiming for. But let's talk about it. What was the reasoning why I did this $1,000 goal project when I already have 12 geckos at that point before the whole project start? And none of them are tangerine lineage or anything going for a color other than black or white, because what would encourage someone like me who definitely favors a melanistic or a snow to go for a tangerine line goal? And all I can say is I've seen some very incredible animals produced by Junior's geckos and Blizzy Bull geckos and Gecko Boa, and between those three it sold me on the idea of, okay, I want purple head look in my collection. Obviously, again, I didn't get purple head, because I don't want to just recreate purple head. I want my own thing, which is my goal with everything, is get it to be what I want, even if it's under a specific line, yes, but I want specific looks. And this male with that tangerine mixed with that lavender spotting jungle look is just unmatched by most clown animals in my opinion, and I thought I have to get him, even though my goal is a purple head look. So where am I taking this? The two females I showed, I actually have two more. The one female looks exactly like the second female I showed, because they're basically twins, and then the first female has a basically twin also. The patterning is a little bit lighter, but more orange for the first one, and the other one's a way more hypoed, which you could say looks like a mandarin look. Obviously it's a purple-head clown, but it has that mandarin look. My whole goal is just to create what I can, and again, it was an idea for YouTube to say, let me make a $1,000 project and see. Obviously I've already started, and my budget was higher than $1,000 when I started. That's why I grabbed Black Knights, because I had the budget to be able to afford the project I wanted. But I was like, all right, let me be able to show an example for people what I did to be able to create a good starting foundation for what I want to look at. And yeah, it's not perfect, and yeah, my racks are older because I purchased them from a breeder who's getting out of leopard geckos, but he had racks that he used for his colubrids. Yeah, I had to think. It was a snake rack, not an actual gecko-sized rack. But I think he didn't make me underpay by a lot, because I believe the exact rack setup I got is the VEI 6 or something like that. And based off of online searching, they average like $212 to $230 depending on where you get them from. And so that, even if we go off that high end $230 instead of what I paid, puts you still under the $1,000 goal that I was aiming for in the end. And that's just my goal, is to show you can achieve a $1,000 budget and pick up, yes, it's only 3 animals, but everyone I've talked to when I first started said, your best bets, don't get too many, but don't only get a 1 male, 1 female pairing, because if something were to happen, you have to have contingency plans to allow for better chances of creating babies. And so that's why I would recommend getting a 1 male, 2 female group to start off. And then if emergency situations happen, grab a second male, but that's not totally necessary. But having 2 females increases your odds at better production rates, better chances of babies.